was my digestion, my eyes, my voice. I lost my voice. My muscles. I started to have tremors. My joints. My heart. Okay, thyroid lovers, I'm going to tell you 15 symptoms of overactive thyroid that I experienced myself. Overactive, hyperactive, inflamed thyroid. In my case, that was the same. An important note, I'm not giving a personalized medical advice. Internet is not very good for that. So if you have any of those symptoms, please consult your doctor. When it comes to thyroid, it's vital to get diagnosed. And if you are going through hell now, it is possible to get help. It is possible to get better, and nothing is your fault. And always talk with your doctor about your thyroid, because reasons of overactive thyroid could be different, and people are different, bodies are different, reactions are different. But those symptoms I will be talking, they are considered to be classical symptoms of overactive thyroid. So in my previous talk, and I'll put the link in the description, I was talking about thyroid acting as our best friend. Always in our interest. Becoming overactive thyroid was trying to help me. In what way? Do you remember Cinderella? This really nice and hardworking girl that one night is just enough. She's collapsing from overworking. She's exhausted. And then this godmother fairy comes and she fulfills Cinderella's dreams. So Cinderella wants to go to the ball, and so she goes to the ball. And this godmother helps her. I didn't want to go to any ball. I'm an introvert. But I had dreams, and my dreams were to become more productive, more efficient. I was working hard, but I always knew, and I always was frustrated that I'm not good enough. I'm not working good enough, And for me, it was the same. Me working good and being good. So the more you work, the more frustrated you get. So yeah, that was never-ending story. And I really needed this godmother, fulfilling my dreams, to be faster, to think faster. I was thinking that I'm too slow. I also had some additional dream that was to lose weight. So those were my dreams, ordinary dreams of ordinary women. And they started to come true one by one. So first symptom was my weight. I was losing my weight so fast that it even scared me a bit. I lost about 10 kilos in 1 month and a half. So from 68, I went to 58. What's interesting, I wasn't feeling well about this losing weight. I thought that, losing weight means that you become fit. It was not the case. My body became very strange, Yes, I received like few compliments and few inquiries, like, am I on a diet or something? But I wasn't feeling well. My body was kind of weak and kind of shaky, and yeah. So I was not impressed by this weight loss. My appetite, on the contrary, went up. So I was hungry all the time, and I was still having dairy products and gluten at that time. The second thing, my energy. I became, in the beginning, really more energetic. That was the dream, right? But this energy was also very weird. When you have energy, but you cannot use it for anything. It's like when you have too much of coffee, when you feel energetic and exhausted at the same time. So that was the feeling I was having. So it was not very productive and not very efficient. So the third symptom was my digestion. How should I describe it to you? Terrible. It was terrible. It was good in a way because it gave me a new dream. Since then, I dream of becoming world-known expert on bathrooms. So for me, indication of the level of the culture, education, even democracy in any country now is the system of public bathrooms. So digestion became really problematic, and on so many levels. It became very fast. And yeah, I must admit that maybe at that time I also was having some other things, not only thyroid related, but also irritable bowel syndrome. And yeah, I remember at that time I was seeing one guy whom I really liked, and he used to like to walk in the park. So he would text me that, would you like to go to walk in the park? And then I would take the map of the park, and then I would check where the bathrooms are. And I would say, no, let's go to the coffee shop. Because I would always need the bathroom to be like 10 minutes away. And yeah, during our meeting in the coffee shop, if we would talk like for an hour or two, I would check bathroom from 4 to 10 times. Also in coffee shops, sometimes here they lock their bathrooms and you have to ask for the key all the time. So it made meetings very uncomfortable to me, travels almost impossible. And meetings and travels, they are in my work, they used to be like 80% of what I do. I meet people and I travel, or at least I go some other place. So I was having a lot of anxiety. So if you are at the moment going through this, I feel you. I mean, I know how difficult it is, and how it's not only physical, it's also psychological. It really can lower our self-esteem, and we start to avoid situations and things that can put us in those situations. So yeah, sometimes I would just refuse to go anywhere, saying that, oh, I don't want to. I'm not in the mood of going somewhere. Number 4, my eyes. Oh, they became really, really huge and protruded. So it's called thyroid eyes. Names are different. It can be called Graves' ophthalmopathy, and different names. That your eyes become bigger and they are like more open. And it's not also kind of aesthetical change in your face, but it's also physical change, because sometimes it's even difficult to close your eyes during the night. So during the night, your eyes, or maybe one of them, remains a bit open, and your eyes become dry and very sensitive to light and itchy. And you feel this pressure and kind of like sand in your eyes all the time. So what happens there is that muscles that hold the eye, they become swollen. There is inflammation there. So they kind of push the eye away, and because of that, other condition can develop. So people start to have double vision. I didn't go there. I was able to stop it. You know what double vision is? It's like when you see two things when there's one thing. So at the time I had a colleague who also had this issue, the same problem, and he was going through very, very similar symptoms like me, but we are very different people. He is older and he's a man, and he has a different attitude to like health and nutrition connection. And we were talking and we were not judging each other. We were just sharing our experiences and observing how different our experiences are and how they're similar. So he told me that he also having this issue with eyes, and he has this double vision. I would assume that when you have double vision, then at least you should stop driving, because it's really dangerous. But he told me that it's not the case, that he himself knows several people who have this issue, and they drive with one eye closed, which is extremely dangerous. So now every time I cross the street, I always remember that there are people who are going just, driving the cars without seeing properly. So the situation was getting worse, because also one of the symptoms of this thyroid eye disease is also there's kind of the feeling, and you can see some like a jelly on your eye. Yeah, so I was pretty scared. but my eyes went back. They are a bit now different than they were before, but it's nothing compared to the situation that I was in. It's very important to look for help, and in some cases, on very rare occasions, surgical intervention is needed. So this colleague of mine, he had 2 surgeries, and yeah, it helped him a lot. Symptom number 5 was also very visible. That was my neck. You know, the goiter, the enlarged thyroid, that, you know, it's like our neck gets swollen. Goiter can happen if you have overactive and also if you have underactive thyroid. And it's very important to check what the tissue is, this swollen thyroid. If it's like just the thyroid tissue or if there's some pathology in it. Symptom number 6, my voice. I lost my voice. And my voice was a tool that I was working with. So you can imagine my frustration and my fear when I realized that I cannot talk anymore. In the beginning I thought, you know, maybe I'm just having some, you know, inflammation of my vocal cords, but I think what happened was that the thyroid was pressing on my vocal cords, and it was very, very difficult to speak. Symptom number 7, my muscles, my body, whole my body. I started to have tremors. This tremor of hands and fingers is a classical symptom of overactive thyroid. Usually doctors would check your hands when you visit them. It was very unusual, and in the beginning it was like, okay, hands I can hide, you know, when I'm talking with you, you don't see my hands. But then whole my body started to have all those tremors and shaking. Especially uncomfortable I felt when my face started to have those tremors and shaking. And it's not like whole face, but just parts of it. So I would have a meeting with some person in my work, and then suddenly I would see like this person is terrified because they see my face. I also was taking violin lessons at that time. I think that was 3rd year of me learning to play violin, and I was learning to play violin together with children. It's not embarrassing to me. I'm the youngest child in my family. I'm used to embarrassment. But it was really, really embarrassing when I had to perform during the exam, and I had to play very simple piece, and I was not able because all my body was really, really tense. But you know, in order to play violin, you have to be not like really relaxed, but your body has to be relaxed. And I was not able to relax, and I was really tense, and I was like stiff, you know, and I was trying like, and I was not not able to play. So I was in front of those parents of those children, and those parents were like my age, and I was not able to play, and I had to just stop in the middle and say, sorry. Sorry, I can't do it. I can't do it. That's it. No, I'm done. Yeah, that was embarrassing. And when this muscle thing started, my teacher, she was not understanding what's going on with me. So she would say, oh, you're very tense, you know, let's try to relax, you know, like let's make some exercises. And they didn't help because your body is so tense and everything is overactive, and your brain is not able to put the signal correctly for the muscles to relax. And you know how it works, even with violin, when you have this bow, it's kind of tense, but when you finish your playing, you have to relax this bow. If you do not do that, the bow will break those this part that is tense, it will break. So body starts to break little by little from being so tense all the time. Number 8, my joints. The joints, actually, they're a separate story because I was having issues with joints since I was in school. You know, when you are very young, they tell you, oh, you are too young for this pain, you know, you shouldn't be feeling joints pain. You could be diagnosed with the so-called youth arthritis. Then later they'll tell you, oh, then we're not getting younger. You have rheumatoid arthritis, but the reason behind it is usually inflammation in joints. So most of cases of this arthritis, they are autoimmune. So I was having issues with my joints earlier, but during this crisis of thyroid, it got so much worse. I remember, usually I would have pain in my hands, in my shoulders, in my hips, in my knees, but that would be like that would be tolerable. But I remember during that crisis, I was trying to get in the bus, and I was not able because I was not able to to bend my knees. So what I was doing, I was just trying to pull myself, like trying to get in the bus using my hands more than my legs. It looked like my legs and my arms and my fingers become very, very stiff. So I becoming it's like sculpture, not a body, not a living body. Number 9, my heart. Oof. My heart. At some point I was not sure, is this heart mine? It used to be like a very nice carriage, like it used to go like it was so calm before. Is it still my heart? Because it felt like I have a racing car in my chest. The racing car that would go 100 and 120 and 120 and 3 beats per minute. 100 beats per minute is called tachycardia. I would have constant tachycardia. Also, my heart would go fast, and then it would stop for a moment, and that would like, wow. So that is called arrhythmia, and it's pretty dangerous. And also, I had this, when you have your heart pounding, like as if it feels like your heart is trying to leave you. So those palpitations, I would also have them. So I was thinking, am I having a heart attack, or am I having panic attack? Maybe I'm having panic attack that will give me heart attack, or maybe I'm panicking because I'm having a heart attack. It's so right thing to do to go to the doctor in a situation like that, because that could be life-threatening. For me at that time, I was feeling so bad in so many regions of my body that I would just be, okay, now heart, okay. That's how thyroid was helping me. It was activating all parts of my body to work faster because I was asking for that. So we come to the number 10, my mind. Yes, I was thinking faster. I was thinking so fast that at some point I was not able to understand what I'm thinking. My thoughts became inadequate. So because of this tension of muscles, I was having always this exhaustion, physical exhaustion, and because of this over fast thinking, I was having mental exhaustion all the time. And if someone would tell me, calm down, meditate, it was almost impossible to meditate because I was just too alert all the time, too alert. I would also have constant brain fog and inability to focus. And this mental fatigue made my work almost impossible. And I'm very, very thankful that my working environment at that time was very friendly towards me. They somehow saw what's going on, but they would never, tell me, you fired because you're not able to work. So I'm always be thankful for my boss and for my colleagues for that. And if you have person around you that is struggling with symptoms like that, please also be kind to them. Number 11, sleep. For several months, I was not getting much of sleep. I was sleeping, but the sleep was really shallow, and when you cannot sleep properly, you cannot have all those different stages of sleep, your brain becomes, during the day, it is not working properly. Yeah, so I tried a lot of things. I tried to do some exercises, I tried to meditate, so at the end of the day, what was really helpful, I was just listening to some mantras or some chanting that would somehow distract the mind and put it in some more calm situation. And then we come to the number 12, and that is mood. So my mood was always kind of overreactive and irritable and anxious. I would have highs and lows. I know a few things about psychology, so I knew that my symptoms show that I'm moving in direction towards bipolar disorder. That was also really frustrating. When you see yourself changing, your personality is changing, and your reactions are changing, this is only one of the parts of my inner building that are collapsing. My mind is collapsing. My personality is collapsing. Yeah. Number 13, my skin. That may sound like a good news. I noticed that my skin became much younger, very thin, very gentle, just like a skin of a baby. And you may think it's a good news. I would also notice that it regenerates so fast. For example, in the morning, I could cut a finger in the morning. In the evening, I would look like, the cut is almost gone. Isn't it wonderful news to have such an amazing skin? I realized that skin is actually, the condition of the skin is not the result of the cosmetics you put on yourself, but it's really comes from inside. And I was not really happy about this new young skin, because do you know how the disorder is called when your skin regenerates itself too quickly? It's called psoriasis. So I knew how will this joy of young skin end up, and I didn't want that. So thyroid affects skin in 3 ways. So your thyroid hormones can affect your skin directly. Also, thyroid hormones can affect other tissues, and the symptoms manifest through skin. And the third way is when your skin, because of thyroid problems, your skin develops its own autoimmune disease. So I was also slowly moving towards this direction, and I didn't like that. So again, this is an example. Thyroid tries to help me, thyroid just tries to help me to look good, that was my dream, to look good. But thyroid doesn't know how much is too much, and that was too much of a good thing. Number 14, hot. So one day, my doctor and my nurse, they were discussing why and how am I, with such a high level of thyroid hormones, still able to function properly. Like, I'm still, go to work, and I'm still able to keep conversation with people, and yeah, I'm not yet totally, I'm not collapsing. And they decided that before going to this crisis, I already had thyroid levels elevated, slightly elevated, for years, maybe decades. So my body somehow adjusted to this high level. And for my body, high level, now it's normal. And then when the crisis happened, then it went not from here to there, but from here to there. So for some other person, this crisis could be more dangerous than it was to me. I was doing quite well comparing to the data. So, and that may be true. And one of the indicators was that I always would feel that, you know, when other people say, "Oh, it's cold," for me, not so much. I even remember wearing t-shirts during the winter, you know, in heated buildings, but still, it's north, you know, and it gets really cold here. But for me, cold is better than hot. So I would prefer open windows during the night, and yes, open balcony. I keep always balconies open, summer or winter. That was before, but during that crisis, it went, you know, it went extreme. So, and also hands and feet, they become very hot. So usually doctor would meet me by just checking my hand if it's hot or not. And finally, after half of a year, maybe a year, when my hands became like normal temperature and sometimes even cold, I was so happy. And every time now when I check my hands, like, oh, okay, it's not hot. You know, for me, that gives such a happy feeling that I cannot even tell you how happy I feel that they are not as hot anymore. And the number 15 is sensitivity to the sun. You may be shocked, but I never noticed that, really, until my nurse scolded me fiercely for not coming with sunglasses and scarf. Don't you understand how sun affects you? Your eyes, your head, if you are not covering your head, what do you expect? You know, how do you expect your thyroid to react? I never thought about that, you know. Now I know that always, even since my childhood, I was feeling bad in open sun. You know, even with my family, with my mom, when we would go to the seaside, I really loved those moments, but I would never go with them together to the sea during the day. I would stay at home and I would go to the forest for a walk. I didn't like the sun. The sun can be really dangerous. So now when it's really hot, I try to use scarf or hat or have some sunglasses, especially for my eyes, because even I don't have those symptoms of eye disease so visible now, but I still have this issue. So if I'm in the sun for several hours, my eyes just start to feel differently. Yeah. So, but comparing to feelings that I had that year, it's nothing. It's totally nothing. So those were the symptoms. There were many other symptoms, but those are the most proficient and the most maybe important and most frustrating symptoms that I had. So there is another one. Overactive thyroid affects our reproductive system. That is also very important. That would be the 16th symptom. For men, that can manifest as erectile dysfunction. And for women, the risk of having a miscarriage becomes higher. But please do not be scared. I mean, it's really important to get diagnosed. If you don't have any other symptoms but you only having those, it still would be good to check your thyroid. That could be a problem behind your problems. It's still possible to get pregnant, and the symptoms can be managed, and the reasons that gave you the overactive thyroid can also be addressed. So the situation is never hopeless. And also for women, changes in menstrual patterns. That is also one of the classical symptoms. I never had it, but my doctor would always ask, like every time we meet, he would ask me about that. So those are the symptoms. They are all quite common, and if you have some of them, then I would encourage you to get your thyroid checked. You know, for me, At that time, YouTube was very important because those symptoms, they are so frustrating and they made me feel very isolated. My doctor, even my doctor, he would not talk with me that much because, time is short. It's like 10 minutes or 15 minutes for the appointment. My nurse would talk with me. Doctor maybe will talk more with the data of my blood and ultrasound and biopsies. So I was talking to YouTube. So I was checking YouTube stories, and I heard so many stories. People telling about their feelings that helped me so much because I realized that the feelings that I have and the experiences that my body has, they're not unique. They're pretty common and people have them and people survive them. So yeah, and thyroid is not my enemy and my body is not my enemy. So when I said that thyroid is your best friend, I got a question, what if thyroid gets removed? And that happens because sometimes the situation becomes life-threatening. But that's the proof, your thyroid is sacrificing itself for you to stay healthy and alive. So that's also an example how our body works in our interest. So yeah, that's for today. Thank you for staying with me. I hope it was useful. If it was, please like and subscribe. Then we can meet next Thyroid Thursday. I'll be talking about the symptoms of underactive thyroid. At some point of my treatment plan, I went through some of them. Yeah, it was also a very interesting experience. So stay well and know that your thyroid loves you.